Yo guys, what's going on, and welcome to another edition of the Altcoin Bosses. This one's going to be nice, short and sweet. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about the altcoins that are actively making a return back up towards the upside. Now, we've got a few winners across the board that are doing very well to hold their gains, considering what happened to Bitcoin yesterday. Now, firstly, before I continue, if you are new to the channel, be sure to like and subscribe at the end of the video, just so that you are aware of what to expect moving forward with these videos that I do. This is part of the Altcoin Bosses playlist, where I look at which altcoins are actively moving and ones that are preparing to move in the future, and what we can expect, the zones that they're moving away from and the zones they're moving towards, which we are by principle looking to try and profit from. So without further ado, let's have a conversation about what's been going on across the board. So first things first, what I like to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I like to just pull up this heat map that I've compiled up. And this is taking all of the coins across the board in Binance, okay? Now, these are coins that are trading against various pairs. So you've got KP3R against BNB, you know, you've got Mina against BNB, got coins against BUSD, against Bitcoin, and I'm trying to understand the disparity between the coins that are actively doing well against the coins that are not doing so well to the downside. As you can see, we've got a lot of familiar names that are actually dropping in price. Now, I always like to pay attention to the coins on the heat map that are showing negative gains. Why? Because I know that at some point these are coins that are actively preparing to make moves. Okay, so for example, if we consider the following, so I'm going to pull up one of the bigger losers on the chart itself. So I'm going to drop this down. I'm going to scroll all the way down, and as I can see right here, I can see we have got XTZ up downs. We've got DAR, we've got Beta, keeps changing because it's all done in real time. Beta BUSD, Tricks up the up down chart as well. I can also show you guys, I've got another chart for you which will put things into perspective on the up down as well. So this is the heat map for the up down charts, so I'll bring that over for you. Gives me a little bit of a snapshot so you guys can screenshot this and have a look. So I can see Litecoin down is up, TRX down is up, Bitcoin Cash down is up, EOS down is up. So these are the positive gains for the coins that are trading down. Okay, and you can have a look at that sort of situation right there. It gives you a bit of a snapshot of where your eyes should really be focused. Okay, so I'm going to bring that across to the chart, and then we're going to see what we can get from this information. Right, so far I'm going to pull up Litecoin, all right, just to understand where we are with that coin right now. So to CUSDT, here we go. Sorry, not Litecoin, well, it was Litecoin, but we'll actually look at Loopring instead. So Loopring, as you can see, when Bitcoin decides to make the move to the downside, okay, Loopring kind of followed the same thing. Everything across the board decided to sell off, okay? But what's important is this. You can see that Loopring right now looks like it's formulating an M formation at the highs, okay? Now, by principle, what we expect is Bitcoin is dropping down, or should I say the dominance of Bitcoin is dropping, we should expect the altcoins to be making moves back up. Okay, more importantly, you need to understand there are several there are several altcoins out there that are actually coming away from mad gains that they have made in the past. Look at all of this move to the upside by Loopring itself. We've got a lot of pools of liquidity that Loopring is likely to come back down towards. So are we going to see that retrace in Loopring? Okay, we've got to be mindful of these zones. The $2.50, $2.40 zone right there is the first pool of liquidity that we could expect them to come back down to. If they do decide to come back down to this point in the chart, we will naturally expect a retrace. And how long they decide before they actually come back up is going to be the determining factor as to whether or not we actually see Loopring coming back up again. You see, when Loopring was making its highs, okay, as you can see, we are at all-time highs with Loopring. Okay, and there's no vector candles, or should I say there's no points in the chart that we can say, yes, it's likely that they're going to come back to that point to continue back up. So what I'm saying to you is you want to be looking for red vector candles appearing in these zones in the chart right here for you to better understand places in the chart that the market maker is likely to come back towards. Okay, if you pull up just any other coin as well that's doing pretty well, let's have a look at Nikon for a second. Okay, you can see right here that on this chart, which is the 1 hour time frame, if I drop down to the 50-minute time frame, we're going to find some red vector candles that they have come back towards. Okay, maybe not this one as a good example. Look at 1 inch. Okay, there you go. Here's an example of it. A coin that is at around its all-time highs, okay, doesn't give us this information. You can see 1 inch actually drops. What's going on in my speech today, man? They actually drop price all the way back down, okay? And we know that the market maker is building longs at lower prices at these zones. And before you know it, they always end up returning back up because these are imbalances in the chart. So they need to come back to these points. This is where the market maker steps in, induces the traders to come in and open shorts. But in the meantime, he's building his longs lower so that he can close them higher at a later point. And he has achieved that. So now we've got points in the chart with 1 inch where we could expect them to come back towards. So we've got this zone right here, which is on the vector candle zone right here, as you can see. We've now got this point right here, which is another pool of liquidity. Other than that, it doesn't seem like there's anything else nearby. So in essence, we are expecting 1 inch to try and make another retrace back up towards the upside to follow this trend back up towards the $5 mark. Okay, some would consider and say like this looks like a big W formation forming, but I would ideally like it to come back down to this pool of liquidity right here, test the daily open to make the move back up again. So we've got to keep an eye out on that as well. Okay, looking at Litecoin itself, here we go. Now, with what happened yesterday, they wanted to take some profits. Again, when a coin is making its all-time high, so if you look at Litecoin itself, not all-time high, sorry, but when a coin is coming back towards previous vectors in the chart, as you can see, look at this big red vector candle right here. When I'm talking about when they're making an all-time high, we don't actually have anything for them to go back on. But when you see them pulling back price, this is a zone that they're likely to come back towards. And you can see what they've done. Look at the precision of the vector candles right there. Yeah? If I just mark off a line right here, you will see what I'm talking about. The high of that candle on the right against the previous vector zone right there. You can see bright as day what they've done. Look at that. Right there, they came back to the recovery of the vector candle via this wick and pulled it back. Okay? They respect the zones. Why? Because they come back down, build longs at lower prices, and close them higher at a later point. Again, vector candle. They came back down. They had intentions to come back to that point at a later stage, and then they based out, formed the W formation, and then they shifted out. Right now, it seems that Litecoin itself, as a coin itself moving higher, okay, is doing very well to hold its gains, considering what happened yesterday with Bitcoin. So once everything starts to stabilize, we should see Litecoin itself pulling back ever so slightly, test the 5, and then try and make a progressive move higher. Okay, but what you can see is every time we make a pump up, they pull it sharply back down. That doesn't seem to be the case with Litecoin right now. So it does seem like it's holding, but I'm expecting them to pull it back. Okay. Flux seems to be doing wondrous movements to the upside, okay? Given with what happened yesterday, it doesn't seem like it's stopping. If anything, it added fuel to the fire in essence, okay? Again, a coin that has only just recently been listed. Look at the principle of the wick. Go and find yourself a coin that's been recently listed, and I guarantee to you they're going to come back up and recover this wick. Why? It's an imbalance in the chart. Look at what's happened. They brought price all the way back up towards it. Now we are expecting them at some point to try and recover back to this zone right here, even back down to these points before they actually decide to come back up again. Okay? For all we know, they could actually continue higher with this coin. So keep an eye out on this coin. Okay? R&D, same story. Look at that. I bet you if we go on the higher time frame, we're going to see it again. Look at that, man. They come back up to previous zones that they tested. Okay? Wonderful behavior. Beautiful W formation in the chart right there on the daily, as you can see. Shifting out of the zone. I'm expecting them to retrace it back down. Okay? Because we are near enough at all-time highs and there's not much for us to go by on the previous chart itself. Okay? We can't really do anything other than to wait for the retrace because of this extension of this move. Okay? OMG. Nice move to the upside. Okay, as you can see, we've got a pattern formulating right here. From the W formation down below, got the rise, retrace, and then another attempt to the upside. And we're going to wait and see if this is going to hold precedence at the 50 EMA to bounce back up again. But remember, a lot of coins that have made gains are now looking to try and retrace, which by principle, if we actually consider where Bitcoin is at right now, okay, we can see bright as day on the daily time frame that Bitcoin has now planted its first daily red vector candle, which is a zone that we are likely to see them come back to at some point. Okay? But they may actually bring Bitcoin down even lower and try and send it down to these previous pools of liquidity right here and absorb the whole wick that they achieved yesterday in order for us to make the next decision as to where Bitcoin is going to move next. Okay? So keep an eye out on that. As long as Bitcoin is pulling back and the dominance isn't there, then we should see the altcoins moving higher by principle. Ethereum has come very well back up towards the 50 EMA, but it's starting to destabilize. So we need to wait and see if this pullback to the 50 EMA was just not another attempt by the market makers to induce the traders to step in long because they missed out on the move to the downside. And he's probably trying to try and induce them to step in lower again, which by principle could see a very sharp W formation on Ethereum. But how low will they go? That's the question. Okay. Will they break below the 200 EMA? Okay. And move higher? Or they're just going to break below it and then come back down to these next pulls in the chart. Okay, going back to the altcoin bosses watch list as well. I keep calling it a playlist. I'm looking on the heat map itself. I need to pull up DOT. Have a look at DOT. DOT itself, copying exactly the same behavior. Okay, you can see they're going to want to try and bring down the price of DOT because look at where we've come from, guys. DOT has had a nice little run up. Okay. We've got a lot of liquidity for them to take, and there's a good chance that they will take it. Now, this is where you're going to start seeing a lot of people across the board saying everything is crashing and doing mad things. It's not a crash, ladies and gentlemen. If DOT goes from $48 where it is right now all the way down to $1, then that would be deemed as a crash. Okay? But a standard retrace in the chart, when they follow one cyclical pattern to the upside and then another pattern to the downside, that cannot be deemed as a crash, ladies and gentlemen. Okay? It's where they're moving money from one point to next in the chart. Right now, DOT has come back down towards the previous zone that they accumulated from. This seems to be the case across the board for a lot of altcoins. Okay? So the idea is to try and find the altcoins that are showing that sort of behavior. ZEC, still yet to see a retrace back down, but it has traded quite sharply away from the 50 EMA. Naturally, we expect them to retrace back down. For every sharp move that you see ZEC do, it always pulls it back down. You're starting to see the same behavior across the board with various other coins. Cardano is showing mad strength. There ain't no stopping this coin. Again, look at this. Back when a coin makes an all-time high. All right, watch this. New coin listed. Look at the wick. We said it yesterday in the video. They are going to recover all of this wick. Okay? Because it's what they need to do. Because this is where orders were previously. This is where the imbalance is. They sharply spiked it and then pulled it straight back down. They're on their way to recovering this zone. Okay? Go and find another coin. And you've seen it. We just spoke about that coin a few moments ago. Okay? They're going to be doing exactly the same for Cardano. All right? All we need to be aware of is the signs that it's going to start breaking down. Okay? But it seems to be holding very well above the 5 and the 13 EMA. Recovery of the red vector candle right here. They've done that zone. Now we're waiting for the next zone for them to achieve movement to the upside. $30 looks very promising, but even 35, 36 looks even well because they're coming back up to recover previous pools of liquidity. Okay, looking at Shiba across the board as well. Look at this madness. Shiba has actually made some really good gains to the upside. Why is money coming into Shiba right now? But funnily enough, look at the bigger pattern on Shiba. As you can see, you have got yourselves a W formation smack bang at the 800 EMA. Are everybody taking their money out of Bitcoin right now to start putting it into the alts? Are we going to start seeing a disparity right now? That's the key thing, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, Gala. Same story. You're seeing the same thing happening over and over. Big drops to the downside, recovery of those zones, and we're waiting for the reset for price to go and take its course. Okay? Luna, same again. Breaks the violates all of the moving averages. Okay? And when you see this sort of behavior here, guys, it is clearly a false move. So we're going to know from now until later on, considering that the New York session itself is closed for Labor Day. So here is the New York session times. Sorry, should I say all the times across the board? All right. So this is what European markets are open right now. Okay. You can see how many exchanges are open, actively trading stocks, cryptocurrencies, you name it. Okay. They're all there. Now we are waiting for the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, Toronto, Mexican, and the Argentinian Stock Exchange to open up very shortly. But I do believe it's a Veterans Day, so I don't think that we are going to be having any liquidity coming into the charts. Okay, it's going to be a light day, so it could set up for a bit of a chaos move across the board. A lot of spiky behavior. In my opinion, ladies and gentlemen, you want to be trading when all markets are open. Okay, because this is the beauty of this. When you trading at times when all the exchanges are open, see, in the next 40 minutes, New York should open, okay, which will still overlap all of these exchanges. So you can imagine how much liquidity is coming into the markets. But if it's Veteran Day, the banks may be closed in the US. There's a good chance that it's going to be a light day of trading, and it won't last long either because they all close in just shy of 3 hours and 10 minutes time. Okay, even sooner. All right. So guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this chart up again for you one more time, just so that you can have a quick look at what's going on across the board. I'm going to bring it up all the way to the top right here so you can have a view of what the heat map is showing us with coins that could be moving up and down. You want to focus on the green because those are the coins that are making the bigger gains. But more importantly, the blue is just the coins actively starting to make decent gains. So they're trading positive. All right, so just take a screenshot of that and pull off some coins. Have a look at them because I can't get them all done in this one video. And then if I scroll down just a little bit more, you'll be able to see some more right there. And I'm going to scroll right down to the reds. Focus on the coins that are in the red, guys, because they could be coming back from previous moves. They could be coming back from cyclical movements from one point to the next. Okay, don't dismiss that. All right, so look, let's look at it like this. Let me just pull up quickly one quick one. Let's have a look at, let me give you a good one. Actually, let me take the sharpest ones, okay? I think if I take the sharpest coins that are losing, then we'll have a clear understanding of where they are coming from. Okay, then. So let's have a look at Alice, okay? Let me pull up Alice. I've been looking at Alice for quite some time. Here we go. Where's Alice come from? So, again, same pattern, all right? Alice has come down and smack bang hit the previous pools of liquidity right here. Okay, as long as she stays above this pool of liquidity in this zone right here, then things will be interesting if at this zone right here, they are going to start basing out and moving higher from it. Okay, one last hit to the downside before they decide to actually base out and move higher. Okay, because we've got these previous pools of liquidity right here. It's no good looking for coins that are making gains like this. No point. Why? Because people are going to get prompted to try and get involved and start investing in these coins at the all-time highs. Don't do it. Okay. You want to wait for coins that are actually, these coins are going to be put on your list of pullbacks. So you're expecting a pullback. So you could have short opportunities, but you want to be careful that you're not shorting into strength. Okay. You want to wait for them to try and recover this zone a little bit, destabilize, and then start making the move back down again. Okay. That's what you're looking for. All right. So I hope that helps you today, guys. Mad love and respect for passing through. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll be checking in with you guys later on in the streams. Take care of yourselves. Peace.